right, so I finished my tree of clay. I twisted all the wires and slowly formed clay around the wires that I did. I decided not to record the whole thing. It took quite a long time. So what I did was put on a movie and sat there with the clay. It was a little bit tedious to get every single piece, but I think it turned out pretty good. I'm really happy with my first tree. I loved the clay. I thought it was a really fun addition to the project, and the tree is just gonna sit right here on the good side, so I still need to paint this and add the foliage on the top, but we're gonna do that at a later date because right now my focus is on finishing up this side here. I liked the clay so much that I did a couple other things. I made a staircase going up, so I'll have eventually a bridge and then a walkway to go up to the evil side. That was cool. So what I did with that is I had a bunch of popsicle sticks that I super glued together like stairs, and then put tin foil on that, and then molded the clay. So once the clay was about halfway dry, I set it on here to make sure it would stick together nicely. And I think it turned out really well. I really like the clay, so I might try to incorporate that more. The only problem with the clay is when I'm having these ideas, I don't have the molds for them. I don't know how to make molds. The popsicle stick thing sort of came to me, and it ended up working out really well. So I'll keep that in mind moving forward, that if I can find a creative way to make a mold, I can pretty much do anything out of clay. When you're using clay, just make sure you have some water with you. So when your clay starts to harden, you just touch your finger in there. You don't need a ton of water, and then just work it back in your fingers. So the clay was great. I think that's one of my favorite parts so far. Getting back to this evil side, I just kind of want to round it out. I'm going to sand the parts that the plaster didn't really finish how I wanted it to, and then I'll add more plaster and fill up the spaces that I needed to sand down. So that's what we're going to work on right now. Just stole this little sanding pad from the old boyfriend's workshop in the garage. He gave me permission to borrow it, so we'll start working. So the other thing that I need to do is keep working on the inside of this cave. It's still a little too shallow. I need to keep digging it out. I think I'll use the styrofoam cutter to try to do that a little bit more. There's a couple things I left to do later. I'm not really sure why, but I'm gonna go back and do it right now. In the future, if I'm working on something, I'm just gonna finish it. I don't know why I thought to do it later, but we'll tackle this now, and then we'll go back and add plaster, one more layer of plaster on everything. I just picked some of these rocks out of my backyard to add like giant boulders, and I'm gonna paint them about the same as the rest of the terrain. So I wanted to get these set. I'm pretty close to being done with this portion of this evil side. I do have some more pebbles to add down here. Maybe I'll start working on that. I picked those out from my backyard too.